My name is Shari Price. I work in the Student Records Department of School District 70. The budget impact on my job has, sad to say, I have not been affected like my coworkers have been.
That's sad to say.
Well, it is. I feel bad for my coworkers because they're the ones that are taking the 20% hit. 20% of their salary was lost. Going to a 4-day school year, you know, wage freezes. Well, okay, I was impacted. My wages were froze this year. You know, we took a wage freeze across the board, so I was impacted. But I have enough years that my salary, I'm okay with my salary. But my coworkers who took the 20% hit by losing a day of work, a wage freeze, insurance increases, and some of them being single parents, has totally impacted their life, and they're having to go out and either get assistance from the state in the form of food stamps or any other type of assistance, or they've had to pick up second and third jobs. Some of my coworkers have even 3 jobs to make ends meet, and that wasn't the case, and that's really sad because they're considered full-time employees here with our district, that a full-time employee has to go out and get that type of assistance or work 2 or 3 jobs just to support their family.
What kind of work do these coworkers do?
They're paraprofessionals who work with the ESS students, the exceptional needs students. We're talking about library technicians, the library people. We're talking about the other building aides. We're talking nurse assistants who do the paperwork for the nurses and take care of the sick kids and stuff in the schools. And we don't have one of those for every school. Some of those nurse assistants have at least 2 and some 3 schools each.
We mostly think it's teachers impacting student learning.
Right.
What kind of role does these kind of support professionals play in student achievement?
It's very important because these students need to have a clean building to come to school in, a safe building. They need to have nourishment throughout the day, and in some cases, you know, with the low economics of our county, a lot of the students receive free and reduced lunches. And so without our food service people there to provide them with a nutritious meal, they may not have another meal at home that day. So we have to provide nutrition, health care for our students in the form of a nurse, just making sure that they're healthy at school and taken care of. The secretaries that keep the paperwork and the purchase orders and everything else organized for the staff, and the parents, you know, the first contact for the parents is usually the school secretaries. So it's a family affair, if you will. You know, we all have to work together. The teachers can't work in a dirty building. The teachers can't teach in a dirty building. The kids can't learn if the environment isn't pleasant. So it greatly impacts how everybody does their job. So, and a lot of our people, I will say all of our people, take pride in their job, and they want to make sure that they offer the best learning environment that they can for the students.
Budget cycle came out this year, and the governor first put out his budget in February, calling for over $300 million. What's kind of like the anxiety level of educators and support professionals here in Pueblo?
It was very disheartening for education, for public education. That was the first thing out of our support staff. The questions were, am I even going to have a job? Is my job going to go away completely? I can't afford to take another 20% cut. I will have to look for employment elsewhere. And as we know, there are no jobs out there. It's one of the worst economies ever that I have seen in my lifetime, and hope to never see again, and I hope it doesn't get worse. But they are going to have to ride out the storm. I mean, at least they have a job right now. Are they going to have to look for a 4th job? You know, are they going to have to look for another job? Are they going to have to move away from the state to find work? It's hard. It's a hard situation, and not knowing yet exactly where the cuts are going to fall, you know, it's hard to know whether they're going to even have a job.
Kids come back.
I've been asking teachers a little bit about the national kind of discourse that's been going on with education, Wisconsin and everything else. And just, you hear these things about, the teachers only, they work 9 months a year, they're overpaid, they're impossible to fire. I mean, even as a support, professional, when you hear these things about education, what's kind of the feeling that you and others have?
Well, I can only speak personally, and coworkers and I have talked about public education, and until we became a wall-to-wall and worked together and learned each side's issues, I think it was very eye-opening for me personally to realize that the teachers have all the testing, all the mandated testing that they have. They have, I can't even begin to tell you all the things that they have to test on, and they have to test every student. It's not just one or two here and there. And then they have CSAP, and they worry about, well, here in District 70, we're a 4-day school. So the kids go to school longer. The kids are burnt out. The teachers are burnt out. Are they learning what they need to learn? And then here comes CSAP. We don't even know what those CSAP's results are going to be until this fall. And then is there going to be more fallout from that? I mean, are the score's going to drop because everybody's so fried that they can't get everything in a day that they need to teach these kids? Public education is still a necessary thing for our students. I mean, I don't know where else are they going to go to get their education. People can't afford private tuition. And everybody says, well, education is so bad. Well, if education is so bad in the United States, why are all these foreign countries sending their students to the United States for college educations if our education system is so bad? So to say that the teachers are bad or that the education system is bad is not correct. It's like any other job. You have a few here and there that probably could do better, but overall, I don't know a harder working group than those teachers. And yes, they may only work 9 months out of the year, but you know what? They need that 3 months to recuperate because it is a grueling, grueling job. They not only have to be teachers, but sometimes they have to be counselors, parents. With today's society and everything, they have to wear a multitude of hats. It's not all just about teaching the ABCs. There's other things that the state has mandated you'll put this in the day too. So it's a tough job. And I don't know if there's going to be a lot of young people getting into the education system if things don't turn around the opinions don't turn around for public education. Well, because I have grandchildren coming up through the system, I worry that we won't have the quality education that they're entitled to or that they should receive, because people aren't going to want to get into education because they can't make a living. People say that the teachers make a lot of money. Well, they're not getting rich by any means. Are they getting rich on the salaries that they're making? So it worries me that that education is not going to attract the quality of teachers that we need. I worry that the government is just going to take over and have the state's going to run the school system. And we have a lot of charter schools and online schools and things like that, but we get kids that leave to go to those entities and they end up coming back because it isn't what they thought it was going to be. So I just worry that what it's going to be like for them in 10, 15 years when they're graduating from school. Every district has to make their decisions on where they're going to cut. The Board of Education, it's a tough job. Being an administrator is a tough job. They just have to realize that lives that they're impacting And it's not just the employees' lives, that we have to put the children first and do what's best for them. You cannot continuously keep cutting from the teachers and having class sizes go up. You can't cut the ESP people and not replace them and expect 2 people to do the work of 4 and expect everything to get done. And I guess that's just, we all have to work together, and there's no easy solution. Going to the 4-day work week was really hard for our district because there were a lot of things that people didn't think about, like the longer days for the teachers and stuff, when they can't even get a break long enough to go to the restroom or take care of, It's hard. I don't know what the solution is. I really don't. And I don't see it getting any better for a while.